Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Yeah, the feds revealed that, anybody that, participated in any, criminal behavior at his freak offs, they're going to pursue.
I find that to be very interesting. Out of all the statements made by Gene Deal in the last 24 hours, and this one was on Art of Dialogue. Big up to Art of Dialogue, actually. To be honest with you, the brother should be proud of his platform, because I'm 55-year-old man, but I'm a lover of music, culture, particularly hip hop music. I came up in that generation. So I followed these stories. I was living in New York when Bad Boy was first being created. You see what I'm saying? I'm from Washington, D.C., so Puffy went to school in Washington, D.C. A lot of New Yorkers come to D.C. and that are in the entertainment industry, go to D.C. to educate themselves and things like that, university classes or business classes, and go back, right, and take on their careers in New York. So I actually am interested in some of the stories that Art has on his platform. But this one I found to be very, very interested, and I'm sure it's going to go under the radar because a lot of people that are interested in entertainment are not particularly so detailed interested in politics in their own country, sadly enough. And I was also like that too. I didn't grow up that interested in politics, although politics is where the decisions are made about your livelihood and your tax dollars and your life. That it's literally made at the voting booth. So if you don't know the issues, you are just a taxpayer. You're not a person that's getting any respect. When you don't vote and when you're not staying up on the political process and what the politicians are drafting in their bills and who they're drafting them for firsthand, you're not going to really get much respect from anybody, because the wealthy already get the respect. They don't need to educate you about what they're doing, and they don't. They usually do what they're doing in quiet, in silence, whereas though the general population should not want that silence. The general population should want the conversation to take place in an open forum, like the debates, like in Congress, like when they have to sit there and talk about laws that they want to write and laws that they want to vote on and support. That's public. We should be just as interested in that forum as we are in Puff Daddy. That's my thing. But right here, you had Art. He gave a little leeway here, and this comment I find very, very interesting. Let me know what you think about it.
Was doing investigation on during that whole time period. It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Yeah, the feds revealed that, anybody that, participated in any, criminal behavior at his freak offs, they're going to pursue.
I find this really interesting. The feds did say that anybody involved in these investigations, look at how interested is Donald Trump in these investigations. He doesn't seem very interested at all. How interested are people that support Trump in these investigations with Puffy, or even, this little thing that's been said here by Gene Deal. I didn't hear the feds verbatim say they're going after politicians, but they are. They're going after anybody, including any politicians. And so that would be true. But I'm just curious, like, what do Trump supporters think about that? I mean, a lot of politicians in New York are from the Democratic, not all, but some, a significant amount of Democrats. Um, do you have any words on that? People that support Trump? Do you care about that? Is that a political issue? Or is it now you don't want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein anymore? Now, since Trump is running, you don't want to talk. You only wanted to talk about Epstein when Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton in 2016 was an issue. Okay, fair enough. You only wanted to do it then. But Trump was the president when Epstein was murdered. Yes, it was Trump that was the one that was supposed to defend all Americans' lives under the law. Did that happen with Epstein? Well, his death happened under Trump's watch. Whatever criticism you have of the jail he was in, you equally need to ask Trump and say to Trump, that was your responsibility. That happened under your watch. What happened? Aren't you concerned? You didn't seem too concerned. Not as a president. Criminals still are citizens, many. They still have rights. People that are residents that aren't citizens still have rights. So where does the lead person that's there to protect your rights have to say about it? It's been almost no comment. So I see a shift in the MAGA reporters. It's because I think who they really are is coming to light. The people that hate generally are in the closet about something. If you are hating immigrants that much, I would say maybe you got a little bit of immigrant jungle fever, right? I'm not saying you have to like everything immigrants do. I'm not saying you have to identify with everything immigrants do. I'm not saying you have to do anything with immigrants. I'm saying you can be you without hating them. But what's up with the hate? Is the hate because you really got jungle fever and you really like the immigrant girls, or you like the immigrants when you can get to the girls? But when you can't get to the girls, then you don't like immigrants? Is it something like that? Is the issue really about something else they're not speaking? Or is it really a hate? I'm starting to think it's not. It's a fetish. It's something weird. It's something more complex than just hate. It's a fetish. They're having some sort of fetish, and undercover thing. Now, they wanted to talk about Epstein when it was Clinton's turn. Clinton ain't been in office in decades. But that's their connection to Epstein. When, at the same time, you had that same connection to Trump. The same exact connection. Even more of it, maybe even more. Just as much as a connection to Epstein. So where's the stories? Where's the stories about corruption? Do Republicans want to get down with corruption anymore? I'm starting to think that if there's any Democrats or any politicians at all worried about Puffy, I'm starting to think there have to be some Republicans ones worried about Puffy too. If there's any Democrats worried about in any Democratic state like New York, think about this. And you didn't get the second part. Gene Deal also said something else I didn't put in here because I don't want to. People should go over to Art of Dialogue and see the whole interview. But there's something else that I didn't put up. It's another comment that he made about the same topic. What he said is that, think about it. Miami didn't do it. Do you think Puffy knows any politicians in Miami? Los Angeles didn't do it. California didn't do it. Do you think there's any lawmakers in California Puffy know? He got money. How did he spread his money around? Or do you think it's just New York? Why do you think it's New York? Do you think that's just the beginning? It's Homeland Security, but it's the New York block, the New York office that did it. Why don't you think the one in Florida did it? Or California did it, or are they doing secret investigations? Actually, these are other investigations going on at the same time the Diddy one was going on that were not even publicized. They're not publicized, according to Gene Deal. So, let me know your thoughts on what Gene Deal said on Art of Dialogue. Um, Let me know your thoughts on, you know, why some people just are so bigoted they can't give a sister a break like Kamala Harris, but they'll give Trump a break. And I'm particularly talking about the brown and black people that support Trump. The other people, yeah, there's a percentage of you I'm concerned about too, but I kind of know how y'all think. It's you know, it has a lot to do with your, well, a lot to do with the same thing some of the black people, I believe, maybe just and brown people just confused or but let me know your thoughts on that anyway. Why can a guy like Trump come out in public and say grab him by the bejeezles? All you got to do is grab him. How come he can come out and say so much hateful things, but yet whenever you always try to make him equal to Kamala Harris in bad doing and wrongdoing, but you can't show one thing Kamala Harris has done bad. You say she locked up black men. She didn't lock up black men. She locked up men who committed crimes, all races, all religions, all values, men that were raping women. You didn't like that? You're not for locking them up, the rapists anymore? What rapists did Trump lock up? Trump lock up any rapists? What did he do when his friend got in trouble? What were his comments when his friend for 15 years got in trouble? Why do you think Trump is afraid of Kamala Harris? Trump is old as hell, so he's not going to have too many years left on Earth. But there's obviously other people involved. I mean, don't you think Trump would be concerned about some of the things being said about him in relation to Epstein? Are there others? Does Trump know about others? How close is Trump to Puffy? Like, how much information do they know about Epstein, parties, all this kind of stuff? I mean, do you want uh, a prosecutor to prosecute people that committed crimes with Epstein or Puffy? You know, I mean, I'm just curious. Do you want that? Because I do. I don't care what party they with. If you've been around raping little girls and raping men or raping people in general, blackmailing people in general, I want you to go to jail, Republican or Democrat. Yeah, although I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she has not been accused of those things or convicted of those things or lost any civil cases regarding those things. She simply hasn't. She simply is not comparable to Trump's troubles. She's simply not comparable to Puffy's troubles, Republican or Democrat. She's not related to those things and or has something to do with the crime. Yeah. I mean, yeah, bro. Exactly, Donnie. Exactly. I mean, I think we can ask these questions. And the last thing I want to know is that what do you feel about the United States? Do you feel like the United States domestically shares its wealth, invests its wealth with the people of the United States, the middle class, the working poor, the handicapped, the whatever? Do you think the United States per capita does its job as well in terms of providing security for the masses? I mean, we say we're fighting wars for security, but there's a lot of ways to security issues. It's not just the Taliban. It's not just Al Qaeda. It's not just Russia, the state of Russia, that's a security threat. There's security threats inside of the United States. There's people getting murdered like they's in a war in the United States. There's people getting turned away from hospitals like and health facilities like they ain't citizens, while being taxpayers. What do you think about how the United States is doing domestically regarding education, access to education, healthcare, housing security. How do you think the United States rates in terms of things like that? And would you want it or expect it to do better? Those are the questions that I ask. I'm pro American because I'm an American that lives outside of the US. So I know what it's like to live amongst others, right? And so when I've lived among others, uh, I realized that, wait a second, it's okay for Americans to be proud also of their heritage. It's not, because it's not that I wasn't proud, but I wasn't the type that would raise a flag. I'm from the capital of the United States. We have the flags on the federal buildings. When I was growing up, we rarely had flags on our homes, American flags, not because we had something against it, but just because we don't need to overemphasize it to be it. You see what I mean? So that's part of the generation I come from. We're more likely to not even care if a immigrant has their flag up on in their house or on their wall. We can understand that because you're away from home, right? So for me too, I'm away from home. I'm an American citizen. I live outside of the US. So I know what that's like. So I've learned a little more respect for the country that I come from, that I'm a citizen of, that my ancestors come from. But I can still question some of these things as an American. That's one of the beauties that we have. I have the freedom. I live in a country where I have the freedom to question these things, Denmark, and I'm from a country where I have the freedom to question these things, the United States. So I will be questioning them. I will be getting answers because I'm questioning them. I'm asking the public and I get that feedback back from the public. So I will do my part. I'm out, y'all. It's been about what, an hour, 50 minutes, almost 2 hours now. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Even the people that's watching the replays. I appreciate everybody that's chiming in on the shorts. I'm getting a lot of views on the shorts in the last few months. I appreciate that a lot. It's helping with the algorithm and it's helping me get new subscribers. Yo, I appreciate everybody. Come with the feedback when you get a moment. And I will be back in 12 hours or so, something like that later on. Have a good morning in the US and have a good day in the EU and everybody else, Africa, Asia. Peace out to y'all as well. Yeah, I appreciate that, Donnie. Appreciate that. I'm going to be back. I'm going to come back with, I think, a couple more clips and one clip from Art of Dialogue and then a few clips from the political spectrum. So, yeah, and then get into some of the political stuff I couldn't talk about today in this time. But yeah, I appreciate that, bro. Right back at you too, man. Be good. Peace out, everybody. I'm going to see y'all later. Let me hit the boom so I can get out of here.